First step to do anything in life, guys, not just Quran, to master anything in life. First step, you gotta start with why. This is very, very, very important, guys. Look, the famous hadith, the hadith that you find at the beginning of almost majority of the hadith book, as I heard from one of the scholars, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّةِ. And this is niyyah. Yeah? You have to have a right intention for picking up Quran and reading Quran, building relationship with Quran. Wallahi. You do that, so I can become a famous reciter. You do that so I can teach Quran, make some money. You do that, wallahi, all of these extremely dangerous reasons, bad reasons. This is not why Allah revealed Quran. Some people do that. This is not what I want you guys to do it. I want you to really understand that Quran, the importance of Quran. I spoke about this in our previous podcast, so I'm not going to go in here. But you have to understand something here, and I'm going to make this very simple. This is you. There's a soul inside you that your doctor doesn't know about, and the science doesn't prove it. But this soul is what is running your entire body. Yeah? A person died. They tried to pump his heart. His heart is pumping, but the soul is gone. Person never came back to life. That would be you, that would be me. They're going to try to bring us back to life. Yeah, that's what people do. They think, oh, you still have time. No, we can fix him. Chodo yaar. I'll be turning to my doctor. I'm going to come back to life for a few seconds. I'm like, Chodo, what do you want from me? Let me go. Yeah? So your soul leaves your body, and all of a sudden your body is shut. This same soul here needs nourishment. Yeah? And Allah did not create your soul, your heart, so you can enjoy Netflix late night, burger, chips. No. This is your nafs, separate. I'm talking about your soul. Yeah? You know that feeling that you get when you have people around you and it's so fun, but you feel sad, you feel lonely. I'm talking about that feeling. Yeah? I'm talking about that feeling. You eat, you chill, you have everything, but you still feel like, you feel something is missing. I'm talking about that feeling. Yeah, we all on different levels. Some of you, mashallah, drive Lamborghini twice a day. So you get that feeling. You have Lamborghini, everyone are taking pictures. End of the day, there's something missing out. Something. You can't tell, but there is something. I'm talking about that. That is your soul, and that needs nourishment, and that comes through dhikr. Number two. What's point number 2, guys? If you want to master Quran, you got to know, inshallah ta'ala, you got to find a good teacher, inshallah ta'ala. You got to find a good teacher. Now, I'm going to make this very simple. If you're looking for a good teacher, me. How simple can I make it? Looking for a good teacher? Me. Thank you. Everyone sit down. All right, let's continue. Point number 3. If you're going to learn, master something, guys, this is important. Teacher, call it mentor as well. Yeah? Everyone who's successful, people who are running the most successful businesses today, podcast, whatever, stuff, business, music, whatever, they all have mentors. And this is something I don't know how, but I completely was unaware of it until I saw this business guy talking about books or talking about business, and he said all good business people, they have mentors. They go and they learn from someone. Guys, we're not talking about book here. We're not talking about course here. We're talking about person. Yeah? So you got to find a good teacher, good mentor. Number 3, you got to know yourself, and very specifically your learning style. You got to know this. I'll give you guys an example. So there was a light upon light event happened all across UK, 7 different cities. So I would sit and I make notes, trying to learn from different mashayikh. There was Sheikh Ali Hamouda, Sheikh Wahaj, Sheikh Bilal Asad, Sheikh Umar Suleiman, Mufti Mank, all these people there. So I sat down first time, start making notes. Sheikh Umar Suleiman in Leeds with 10,000 people. I could not understand him. And I saw his videos. I watch him on YouTube. Don't understand. try to make notes. I spoke to a few guys. I said to them, look, did you understand? Did you understand? They said, bit they didn't pay attention. I know that. Next, I said, no, I'm going to learn. Sat down, trying to take some notes, learn from him. A little bit. I learned a little bit. Third, fourth time when I saw him speaking here in London, I finally could understand exactly what he's saying. How? I could understand the flow from the beginning till the end. I understand him now. Yeah? Alhamdulillah. Comparison to him, we go to Sheikh Ali Hamouda. Amazing. Check his YouTube. Amazing, wallahi. Allahu Akbar. You know, when you think of someone who's gifted, you guys think of, oh, this person have Lamborghini, have followers. Wallahi, when I see someone gifted, I like these mashayikh, mashallah. Gifted with knowledge. Allahu Akbar. May Allah preserve them. Gifted with knowledge. So subhanAllah, you listen to them for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and it's a whole different experience. If you watch the videos, you can watch the videos on YouTube. If you go and sit in front of them, it's something else, wallahi, something completely else. And so, every time you sit with them, they give you something. And it's like, as if it hits your heart. It's something you could never buy, something you can never experience with money. You cannot do that. Yeah? So, back to what I said, I could not understand Sheikh Umar Sulaiman. I could not understand him. Compared to him, Sheikh Ali Hamouda, for example, as soon as he starts speaking, I get the whole picture, I get the whole idea. Yeah? So as he's speaking and talking, I see him starting with the reason, example, trying to establish a ground, common ground, and then he will say, we're going to talk about this, and then he'll talk about this, and then he will say, now we're going to move to the second thing, and then we're going to move to the third thing, and then he will end it. See, I get the whole picture in my mind. I can map it out. I could not do that with Sheikh Umar Sulaiman. I could not. Yeah? I could not understand where is the beginning, where is the beginning, where is the call it the body, where is the summary. I could not understand. Same when it comes to different people, authors, books that you're reading. Sometimes you have authors, you understand their reading, you enjoy. All of a sudden, as soon as you pick the book, you enjoy it. You start reading, you start enjoying it. But some people, it takes time for you to understand. So find out what is your way of learning. Q&As at the end, guys. Inshallah ta'ala, Q&As at the end of this live podcast. We will give you guys a chance to ask questions and answer your questions, inshallah. So know your style, your type of learning. Yeah? And as I said earlier, some people listen to books, some people listen to lectures, some people learn better in class, some people learn better in lecture halls, some people learn better among people, some people learn better on their own. You gotta find out your style of learning. If your style of learning, and also you link that and then you have a teacher, his style of teaching, you gotta find both. The reason I'm saying you gotta find both, because nowadays you guys have options. You can't say, Ustad, I couldn't learn this because the teacher. No, you have plenty of teachers. I can tell top of my head so many YouTube channels, so many different teachers. So you telling me, oh, you can't find one? I know you. Next guys, and this is going to be very important. After you have understood a reason for learning Quran, strong reason, you have a strong reason to learn Quran, and then you have found a good teacher, you know yourself. Now you got to find what we call the right system, and we spoke about this last week, but I'm gonna say it one more time. System. For example, try to understand this, guys, and you can apply, inshallah ta'ala, different things that you're learning or you're doing in your life. Have a look at this. This is you, and now you have a goal in mind. You wanna reach east, and the system you have is you cannot reach east very quick unless you take a flight. Yeah? But rather than taking a flight, you find this SpaceX rocket. And they'll tell you, we will get you to anywhere you want in 40 minutes. Whoa, 40 minutes? Yes. All right. The problem is you pick this option, and this is actually going to the west. How will you get to east? you ended up going to a complete wrong direction because you picked the wrong system, you picked the wrong direction. Are you guys with me? So you had a perfect system here. If this is good, this is gooder than good. Yeah, excellent. But then it was heading to the wrong direction or opposite direction. So you have to what? Have a right system in place. I'll give you guys an example. I have a student, literally start teaching him just today. This student, he was in my Tajweed program. Now, I don't do assessment. I used to do assessment. There's probably still a button on my website we can click and say, I want to do assessment. I used to do free assessment before students enroll in my program. Now I can't. He was enrolled in Tajweed program. And he is heading to this direction. Until he realized that there's something going wrong. His reading is not as good. So he said, Ustad, I want to book 1-to-1 sessions and all of that. And then I tested him and I realized that he actually needs to go in this direction first. And from here he can come back to Tajweed. Yeah? So you need to have a right system in place. I can't sit here and tell you, guys, let me teach you how to memorize. Well, I can't do that. That's what the podcast is for. Guys, let's memorize Quran together. And you have someone here who struggles to read. You see, it's not going to work for you. You guys with me? So you have to have a right system in place. Now, when I say system, I'll show you a very quick example of that. What I have here and what we offer here on our website is different systems. We have beginners program, intermediate program, advanced program. These are systems and we tried them with different students over the last 2 years. Student goes in from one side and from the other side, mashallah, he is able to read Quran, spell Quran. Another system, students come in from the other side, he can read most of Quran with Tajweed, alhamdulillah. Next system, student comes in, he doesn't know how to write Arabic letters, comes out and he knows how to write Arabic letters and words. System. Now, a lot of times, and I have to be very honest with you guys, when it comes to Quran, although we have amazing systems, yeah, they are not as functional sometimes because of certain reasons. And I'll tell you guys an example. When I was memorizing Quran, the system we had, there is a place called Tahfidh. Listen to this system. Top system here for those of you who want to learn Quran, memorize Quran. This top system is Tahfidh. Ya walad, you go in and you memorize. I don't care if you have a brain or not. You memorize. You memorize. The teacher will make you. You will memorize, bro. Where you gonna go? And you come out as a hafiz. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Yeah? And this system worked in the past. The system worked in the past. I didn't have phone. When I would sit in a madrasa, I have to pay attention, read, because my mind has no other place to wander around. We used to buy these CDs and you watch cartoons in the CDs. So that's the only cartoon you can watch. So we watch it again and again because no, there's no other cartoon. Internet was not accessible, it was expensive. Watching a movie on internet, you can just dream about it. It's never going to happen. Yeah? Creating content, putting it online. Oh, impossible. Only big people can do that at that time, huh? So, Tahfidh is a madrasa, call it madrasa. Yeah? So these institutions, they still exist, but they only work for certain type of people. I was a Quran teacher, and I was a Quran teacher in a masjid, and I've been a Quran teacher here in London in different institutes, and I can see that sometimes systems fail, not because the system is bad. Sometimes there's a factor that the teacher doesn't know enough, the institute doesn't know, the institute hasn't produced huffaz, like people haven't come in this system and came out as huffaz, so they don't know, they just do whatever they think is right. And a lot of times we have a lot of challenges when it comes to parents and students. We have students come in with a lot of challenges that we have to deal with. So we can't just say, oh, come here, sit down and memorize Quran and go. No. Yeah? We have crisis. May Allah help us all. So, system. The system I have, for example, works for people who like my style of teaching. I'm not going to come and force you, go and read right now. I don't do that in my classes. There are students in my class, they don't read first time, second time, third time, they start reading for the fourth time. Parents have to be there. For those of you who are adults, grown-ups, if you come to my program, if you don't do any of the online courses, you're not doing your homework, I'm not going to force you to do it. So my system works for people who are already motivated, people who are already driven, let's just say. Yeah? So you got to find a right system if you want to memorize Quran. And today I'm going to give you a hint of what a right system looks like. So for those of you who are teachers, take some notes. Let me show you a system that is tried and tested and has been used over the centuries to teach people Quran, to get them to learn and memorize Quran. Number one, let's try to look at this timeline here. Here's a massive timeline. This is from the moment Quran was revealed, and this is today, 1444. Pay attention. When Quran was revealed at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, it was very, very, very simple. The way people learned Quran, the system that was in place, you sit and you learn from someone heart to heart. That was it. So you are the yellow. Yeah, focus on the yellow bit. The only way for you to memorize Quran in the past, at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there is nothing written. There is nothing but you sit in front of the person and you repeat until you memorize. And guys, for those of you who are saying, I find it hard to read Quran, yeah? Imagine if Quran did not exist. You had to go to someone who can say things, then you can only say them. Imagine that. Look at the luxury we have. We can go to YouTube, reciter after reciter, teacher after teacher on YouTube. Funny teacher, funny teacher, funny teacher, huh? Look at the blessing we live in. Yeah, you can access Quran like that. During that time, the only way you can access or learn Quran is by sitting in front of the person and learning it heart to heart. That's it. And so these Sahaba, you look into the stories, Anas ibn Malik, young lads. For those of you who are young people, they memorized entire thing, Quran, Hadith and all of that, so they can teach it to the next generation, so they can teach it, so you can learn it. Busy preserving this religion, Allahu Akbar. What are we doing, guys? They were busy, day and night, memorizing, preserving this religion. No time to waste. I want to have time off. I want to go holidays. No time. Because there's so much to learn and pass it on to next generation. Now we say, oh, Ustad, this is live, I can watch it later. And you never watch it later. You're lying. You never watch it later. Unless you got a serious reason. Well, we don't. We say that. Oh yeah, I'm going to start something. I want to do something about Quran. We say that. Yeah, we're lacking motivation. We're lacking big time in a lot of things. But these Sahaba, Radwanullahi alayhim, day and night learning religion, yeah? So that's how we have Quran. Look what happened later on. Slowly, what happened? Quran became a written book. They wrote it down. And this happened few years, I would say 20, 30 years after Prophet ﷺ, when in one of the ghazawat, one of the battles, a lot of huffaz, people who memorized Quran by heart, they passed away. So then the Khalifa of that time, Umar radiallahu anhu or Uthman radiallahu anhu, they said, we're going to gather Quran. We're going to write Quran and we're going to have copies of Quran. So after they done that, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud was one of them. He was considered one of the most knowledgeable people at that time. They wrote Quran. They had 3 copies of Quran in the entire world. Now, focus with me here. I'm talking to you guys about the system. Unless you can read this writing, you cannot read it from the book. So still, 20, 30 years after the Prophet ﷺ, still people were only learning Quran from people. And very few people can learn it from the book. So if you were there, you would still have to sit in front of the teacher and learn heart to heart. Teachers can only access this book. Yeah? Only Arabs. Until what happened, Islam spread east and west, taking over some of the biggest empires. Yes, Roman Empire gone, Persian Empire gone, Islam is everywhere. What happened then? You have Persians, Romans coming in and they're learning Quran, but they look at these letters and they do not recognize them, so they teach them. Now here's a problem. The issue was, you write something like this, for example, in Quran, yeah, this is how the old Arabic used to look like. And although you teach the letters to these foreigners, people who do not know Arabic language, they would end up reading this as Jim, Ha, Kha. They can read it as anything. They can read this as Dal and Dal, because this letter here without a dot is Dal, but now we know with the dot is a Dal, but back then there was no dot. And this letter here, for example, is Jim, this letter is Ha, this letter is Kha. They were unable to differentiate between these things. So what happened then? They started adding and they modernized this Arabic. So Arabic is more accessible to people. So Arabic, what's inside this? I'm going to say green. They changed it. They did not change Quran. They changed the way Arabic is written. That wasn't enough because people were still reading Quran wrong. So they added tashkilat. Ja, hi, khu, for example. Tashkilat. Yeah? And they kept evolving Arabic language so it is more accessible to people. You guys with me? This is a system. Until we have roughly 300 or 400 years after the Prophet ﷺ, Abu Musa something, he came along and he developed rules. Not Abu Musa. Don't want to say something and then people say, oh, how dare you say that he was wrong. He came and he set rules of Tajweed. Why? Because Arabs, there's no problem for them, but a non-Arab would read Ha as Ha. They don't know what Ha is. They would say as a Ha. So he developed these rules, Tajweed rules. An Arab would know that when you read the Quran, you do you stretch it, but a non-Arab wouldn't know. You guys with me? So what happened here? They needed people to develop rules, and this person here, few of the scholars, they sat together, they developed rules of Tajweed. After that, they start developing, now from here we would say, as we're developing rule, there are two things that were developed. Tajweed rules, and we also have Qawaid. Now, I don't know the exact detail of Qawaid, when and how, but Qawaid are needed for people who are unable to read Arabic. You guys with me? So Qawaid and Tajweed are two separate things. Let's talk about them. If you do not know how to read, this is important, guys. This is very important. If you open a page of Quran and you're unable to identify these letters, you are unable to reason, for example, فَلَعَلَّكَ, why is it not فَلَعَلَّكِ? If you cannot reason this, it means you do not know rules of spelling Arabic. You cannot spell, you cannot read Arabic yet. Quranic Arabic, we're talking about Quranic Arabic. Another example, بَاخِعٌ. You don't need to know the meaning of this, but why do we say ba? Why don't we say بَاخِعٌ? Why are we saying ba? If I say ala, I'm reading it right, but I'm pronouncing it wrong. Now I do not understand Tajweed. Notice the difference. If I don't know how to spell, then it's Qaedah. If I don't know how to pronounce, then I need to learn Tajweed. Okay? Look at this. آثارهم. Someone say آثارهم. You know what my teacher used to do? He would say, open the Quran. I open the Quran, then he would say, look. And I would look. If I read this wrong, he will have, if I look at it and read it wrong, he will get angry. So why are you not looking properly? You should be able to. Why? Because when you read Quran, you're trying to memorize Quran or apply Tajweed, you should be able to read words correctly. So that is Qaedah. That's the next step. You need to master Qaedah. And then you need to master Tajweed. Pronunciation. When I say, and then you need to, if you learn Qaedah properly, you do not need to learn a lot of Tajweed then. You only need to learn a lot of Tajweed, yes, when someone didn't teach you Qaedah properly. Once again, you need a lot to learn Tajweed, a lot of it, when someone haven't taught you Qaedah properly. If someone teach you Qaedah properly, you're pronouncing things right, then there is less need of Tajweed there. And from there, you move to Hifz, inshallah, and that is the final step. So I hope you guys are happy with 7 steps. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to watch the entire podcast, click here. And if you want to join our online madrasa, make sure you check this video out first. Assalamu alaikum.